awful.
Oh,
I
that's
disagree.
That's horrible. One of my homeboys sent that to me. He thinks he's funny and everything. He sends me these pictures and everything like when I was younger. And I seem like I've changed and everything. He said, money makes you look better. You were an ugly little kid. And I was like,
See, a wise man once told me,
What?
The worst athletes on the field, you know how you can tell who they are? They're wearing a neck roll.
Knee braces and neck
What's
roll.
that around the back here? What's
my high
going
school
on
coach,
there?
he said I had to play, if I wanted to play defense, I had to wear a neck roll to protect me and everything. I was like, I'm not going to hurt my neck. So, thanks, coach. Thanks, coach. I don't look like I got no type of swag or
But even back then, look at the size of your hand.
Oh,
Like you knew you were destined for the NFL. Look at that. It was like bigger than the ball.
I bet in this picture he thought he was destined.
Snatching some purses or something. I mean, big hands don't mean you're going to the NFL. That means you just can get into,
In trouble.
Into trouble.
There
is
you
what
go.
He means.
Uh-huh.
Yep,
No
let's
problem.
Move on.
Let's see.
I had to turn that
Start
into a
your
career,
morning. No,
though.
we got to move right on.
Yeah, my buddies grew up to be pickpockets and stuff. Yeah, so you think you're funny with the picture.
A handful of coaching vacancies were filled yesterday. So the Broncos tapped Bears defensive coordinator Vic Fangio as their next head coach. John Elway said he wanted experience, and the 60-year-old Fangio has plenty of that. See what you make of this hire by Denver.
I love the fact that John Elway is going to play to his strength. Their defensive personnel is better than their offensive personnel. And I don't believe that every organization should be trying to find the next young offensive coordinator. Football is still 3 phases. That has not changed. Special teams, defense, and offense. And I do believe we have dynamic leaders that are defensive coaches. And Vic Fangio is one of them. Congrats. This is one of the better hires this week.
I love this hire, and I also think people need to look at it from this perspective. 8 coach openings. If 7 teams go with the offensive guy, someone gets the 7th best available offensive guy, the 6th best available offensive guy. The Broncos got the best available defensive guy because he's going to be the only defensive guy hired or one of only 2. So I like his experience. I like his resume. I like that even though he's never been a head coach, he's been in the NFL since 1985, so
Yes.
that's 33 years of experience.
Half the times his defense have been in the top 10 as far as scoring, yardage, like quality coach they get in Denver.
More coaching news to pass along. The Jets are hiring Adam Gase to be their next head coach. Gase, remember, led the Dolphins to a playoff appearance in his first season in Miami, but then went 13-19 in the following 2 years. The Jets are hoping Gase takes Sam Darnold to the next level. Nick? Good hire by the Jets?
I'm going to reserve judgment on this one because I've heard really smart people that I trust say Adam Gase did everything he possibly could have done in Miami. It was the organization and the quarterback that prevented them from having more success. And a few people I really trust their evaluation of quarterbacks say, man, Ryan Tannehill's good, better than we've seen, and that they think he will do better with a new coach. So smart people I trust on both sides of this equation. I think I know which side Chris Carter's on, but I want to see what he does with his second shot.
Yeah,
with the
I
Jets.
don't think those football experts, how's Ryan Tannehill going to do better with his next coach? He going to stay healthy?
Okay, well,
Okay,
the health is a real issue.
Okay, so that's not a coach's fault. I thought Adam Gase did tremendous things with their offense. Look at their personnel. Drake, Wilson, look at these guys. They had career years. He developed the talent there, and they had a number of injuries. I believe that the Jets got it right. Sam Darnold should be happy, besides Sam Pepper. You know,
Our producer,
Jets fan. Sam Darnold, he's getting ready to get a good offense around him. Very explosive.
All right, move to the NBA now. A matchup of MVP candidates last night. Giannis and the Bucks topped James Harden and the Rockets 116-109. Giannis had 27 points and 21 rebounds. Meanwhile, Harden went for 42, so it was obviously a slow night for him. Harden now has 30 or more points in 14 straight games, tying Tracy McGrady for the second longest streak since the merger. See, how great was this matchup last night?
It was a very good matchup. It was good to see because the Rockets, they're trending really up. They're playing great with Chris Paul being on the bench there with the injury. Harden is in a stretch that's very, very unique. It's one of those one out of the top 5 offensive outputs that we've seen in this stretch. And Giannis is playing. His rebounding is at a special level. And I like the fact after the game, people came up to him like Nick Wright, hey, do you believe you're in the MVP? He said, I don't even know if I'm good enough to be talking about that yet. I'm about winning, and that's what you can see. They shoot the 3 just as good. These are number 1 and number 2 shooting threes in the NBA. So Milwaukee has really changed their style. It was great to see them on the national stage.
Your point about the three-pointers, that's an example of coaching matters in this league now.
Yes.
They got a new coach. They got a whole new offensive
And that was
identity.
something you were very excited to see. You thought it was going to be a huge uptick.
One of the reasons I was one of the few people putting Milwaukee in the top tier of the Eastern Conference was I thought they had a lot of untapped potential. What Harden's doing is unprecedented. Giannis, though, the one knock on him had been late in games. Is he going to take over? Things like that. The Rockets cut this to 3 late. Giannis bucket, Giannis free throws, Giannis tip in to ice this game. Excellent win by the Milwaukee Bucks last night against a red-hot Rockets team.
All right, the Lakers beat the Pistons last night behind a career-high 41 points from Kyle Kuzma in only 3 quarters. Kuzma shot 16 of 24 from the field. Nick, how critical is Kyle Kuzma's development to the Lakers' success?
Well, right now, other than LeBron James' health, it's the single most critical component of the team for this year and for the future. For this year, because he is the second best player on this team, and the only person who maybe has an argument is Rajon Rondo, who's also out with an injury right now. And for the future, that blue chip trade piece that everyone had assigned to Brandon Ingram, slide that over to Kuz if he can keep this up. Now,
Good news, bad news.
Right.
Yeah,
it would have been amazing if both those guys look like blue chippers. And Ingram, to his credit, game before this, second most points in his NBA career with 29. And in that game, Kuz was 4 of 20. To respond to the worst game of your NBA career, one of them,
41.
with 41 through 3 quarters, what an excellent performance in a game. The Lakers can lose any of these games. With no LeBron and no Rondo, I don't care if they're home against the Pistons, any of these games are available to be losses, and Kuzma was outstanding. And then in the fourth quarter, I don't know that they planned on having him sit the whole fourth quarter, but the bench and Beasley and Zubats extended a 13 or 11-point third quarter lead to a 20-point lead, so those guys were able to sit. This was a great game, and it continues on a very important progression for Kyle Kuzma.
For a number of reasons, he becomes very important. It's not only being able to score the basketball, but how he can score it. Since LeBron's been out, one of the worst shooting slumps that he's been in. So how did the Lakers suffer? They suffer fourth quarter with LeBron not being there. They suffer their overall playmaking. But Kyle Kuzma's game has been suffering because people are able to key on him. His ability to adapt as a major scorer. To me, I like to look at the Golden State model because they do have Steph and they do have KD. But Clay, to me, becomes one of the wild cards. Can Kuzma be that third, that next, because they're going to get another star. They're either going to trade for one or they're going to have Kawhi or someone else come this summer. I believe because he showed such good on the offensive end, I wouldn't trade him. And that's what I was worried about last year when they wanted to trade him and Ingram. And I was like, no, don't trade Kuzma because I thought he had the potential outside of Lonzo to be the best pro.
But can you get Anthony Davis if you don't trade Kuzma?
Well, you'd have to wait 2 years.
You'd have to wait 2 years if you want him next year. He's the guy that you talk about you're going to want to probably.
And I would, like, C has been operating from the perspective of don't trade any of them, sign Kawhi, and then keep them all.
Yes.
So
you're telling me if I don't get my wish and do something else, then I'm trying to keep him out of that deal. But if you want Anthony Davis, it's pretty much hold your hands up.
Because it's not like Lonzo and Ingram have given you anything that they're going to want.
Well, and I mean, they would, I don't want to downgrade them to that level, but you've got to include a blue chipper. You're going to be getting a top 5 player in the league. Kuzma is a guy who is now elevated himself over number 2 pick of the draft Lonzo, number 2 pick of the draft Ingram as their biggest blue chipper. And I want to give you credit on this, C. This summer, when I was saying the Lakers traded all for Kawhi, doesn't matter, you kept saying, man, I would trade it all except for Kuzma. And I thought he was, even though I wasn't so high on Ingram, I thought the potential of Ingram and certainly Lonzo was greater than his. I thought he looked better last year because he's older, but the way he has grown his game, and he's having this year, despite shooting well below what he will shoot from three-point range in his career. Like he's shooting poorly from three-point range, and he will be better at that. He was better at it last year. You saw something in Kuzma I didn't necessarily see, and right now he's been critical to what the Lakers have been able to tread water without LeBron.
All right, let's move back to the NFL now. 41-year-old Tom Brady, who is getting set to play in his 38th career playoff game Sunday against the Chargers, as he starts his quest for a 6th Super Bowl win. Many have begun to question what he has left in the tank. But as we have come to learn about our